why are stories so important to these NFT projects? Because we're seeing that more and more online about the the value of building that story and that lore and how that brings people together. And so, like, what do you see in Pixel Vault that they're doing right? And how do you think that story is going to last the test of time?
Yeah, so Pixel Vault as an investment is very new. It actually feels a little weird to be like inside the company, so to speak. I minted 10 of the first comics. So I think I have comic 105 to 114. After we announced it, a bunch of the community members were like, who is this investor? Like, dude, I've been there from the beginning, right? I love the project from the beginning because of stories. I saw it as the first project that I had seen at the time. It was going back like May of last year, a little before it was actually before the mint as they were building up to it. And it was good versus evil. It was, these timeless stories. Not that it was all baked, but the idea that it wasn't just, even at the time, I was like, does the world need, I think I used Pudgy Penguins maybe at the time as an example of like, do we need just that? Now, fast forward, and you could ask the question again, but the idea that this could be serialized content, that it could be content that is owned by the community, that the community could help create and market and capture some of the upside from the appreciation of their assets, low mint prices, price specifically to appreciate. It wasn't a cash grab, didn't sell out. This wasn't one of these things that was on a white list, doing jumping jacks and pull-ups to figure out if I could like mint it. They were basically like, we're doing this. We think it's cool. If you think it's cool, mint it for not a lot. And then they started making you, make choices. Do you want to burn this for a Founders DAO token? Do you want to do this with that? And they created a community on the back of like this serialized content. And it's just the beginning. And so it used to be that, you had a comic book and then you made it into a movie. Now it's kind of like you have an NFT that makes a comic book. Does it become a movie? How's that movie made? How's it funded? Who owns it? All this stuff that, we can do with Web3 is like really cool. What does a decentralized media company look like? It doesn't mean that all of the profits go into the community. It means that there's a sense of ownership and governance. And that's why Jacob, joined from Fenwick. He's one of the world's most experts in like DAOs and governance structures. And it's a fascinating experiment in a media company starting with just a better business model. And the better business model, think about the movies, right? Like you option, if you're a creator, you option it to a studio. It may or may not get done. It costs $100 million, takes 3 years. This, they create content, they sell it, and they fund, which funds whatever they want to do. And so that kind of shift kind of empowers the creator in a way that they never were empowered.
Yeah.
And so they can control the destination of the stories with their community. And, Sean, aka G-Funk, is a really special founder. Transparent, smart,
Yeah.
good
I want
looking.
to I want to dive into G-Funk in just a second. But before that, let's touch on a comment you made about the ability for fans and supporters to own some of these assets and then help with the marketing of that. And, this could be because I'm not the biggest comic fan, to be honest. I've never been a comic fan before Pixel Vault. So this is kind of new territory for me. And I'm curious. We have today fans of, the Spider-Man with, that movie is about to, the new Batman's about to drop. We just had a Spider-Man. And these people, their fans are very avid communicators online, but do you see the marketing potential from like ownership communities to be much more powerful than your average fan today?
So it's different. And it's hard to even compare them, right? In one And most of my life is spent being a fan of like traditional media, right? Like I've been to way too many concerts. I'm not even going to tell you how many Fish shows I've been to, where you buy a ticket, right? You show up.
It's all we've ever been able to do, up until
yeah, and there's no sense of ownership, but you feel a sense of ownership. You're disappointed when they kind of go on hiatus. You kind of, their wins are your wins, their losses, but it's at the end of the day a relatively distant relationship, and a relationship where there's no real aligned financial interests. And so I look at this space as the idea that you are participating in some of the economic benefits that come with popularizing the franchise. And so Pixel Vault specifically has very big visions of being on every type of screen, all sorts of games, licensing divisions, where your meta heroes, which is really the driver of the gaming community there, and I think ultimately a lot of the franchises, those are going to be global, and those are going to be recognizable, and those are going to be in your wallet. You can buy them right now. It's a project that I like projects that are not overnight success stories. It didn't sell out. Super Rare was working for 4 years before it raised any money and really broke out, right? And so to me as a collector, a very big collector of Pixel Vault before Punk's Comic and Meta Heroes and Planet Dow sets, I have, if it exists, I have it, most likely. All of which happened before I invested. It feels very different, and the community feels different. I think the Founders DAO Discord channel is one of the best online communities I've ever joined. And it's on Discord, which is suboptimal for the record.
Yeah. No, I guess it's really interesting just because we've never thought about a decentralized entertainment company, a media company, and the demand for that. And I feel like the demand is almost being created in real time as people realize what could be. And so it sounds like you really see this going into actual feature films, just like the Superman, the Batman, the Spider-Man movies we see today. You see those same kind of storylines being developed, and now the owners of those characters being the people in the community.
100%. I mean, listen, you don't have to listen to me. This is G Funk's vision. And it's why he could have started with anything. He could have found koalas. He could have found whatever the project was. He's from Hollywood. His dad is a legendary production person behind the scenes. It's story first. I hadn't seen that at the time. May of last year, April of last year, it was new. The idea of we're going to start with serialized content. And it's built for multimedia. It's built to tell stories across every media. NFTs at the end of the day, it's not a product. They're not a product. It's a medium in which storytellers can bestow ownership for some of their stories to their collectors, to fans.
You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the metaverse.